I was 45 when I realized I'd been guarding a monster. My name's Jack, and for 15 years I was a bodyguard, private security for the rich and powerful. Ex-Marine, built like a fridge, I could stare down anyone. I protected CEOs, actors, even a senator once. But Evelyn Carter? She was different. A philanthropist, 50, all smiles and charity galas. I thought I was doing good, keeping her safe. God, I was naive. Looking back, I see the cracks, her late-night calls, the shady guys at her events. I ignored it all, too proud of my job, my skills. I'd stand by her side, scanning crowds, my Glock heavy under my jacket, feeling like a hero. My best friend Mike, another guard, would joke. "Jack, you're her knight, man." We'd laugh, grab beers after shifts, brothers in arms. But there's this pit in my gut now, this shame that keeps me up. I didn't just protect Evelyn, I enabled her. She wasn't saving kids with her charities, she was trafficking them. Yeah, you read that right. I found out 6 months ago, and it broke me. The worst part? Mike knew. My brother, my buddy, was in on it. I trusted him with my life, told him about my divorce, my kid who won't talk to me. And he lied to my face. I'm not some saint, hell, I've made mistakes, cut corners. But this? This is blood on my hands. I keep replaying one night, a gala in Chicago. Evelyn was radiant, shaking hands, while I watched the room. A guy in a cheap suit slipped her a note. She smiled, but her eyes went cold. I thought, just business. Now I know better. That note was a deal, a kid's life sold. I stood there, clueless, protecting her. I quit after I found out, but the agency didn't care. Clara, my boss, told me to shut up or I'd regret it. Now I'm alone, checking my locks twice, jumping at shadows. I'm scared they'll come for me, Evelyn, Mike, someone. I'm writing this because I need to get it out, like confessing to a priest. I don't know who to trust anymore, not even myself. What if I'd seen it sooner? Could I have stopped it? I'm just a guy who thought he was doing right, and now I'm drowning in what I didn't do. Looking back, I thought I had it all figured out. 5 years ago, I was in my prime, 40, fit, sharp. The bodyguard gig was steady, good money, better stories. I'd wake at 5 a.m., hit the gym, check my gear, earpiece, Glock, knife in my boot. By 7, I'd be at the agency, sipping burnt coffee, swapping war stories with Mike. He'd rag on my buzzcut, say I looked like a drill sergeant. We'd laugh, plan the day. Evelyn Carter was my main client then, a rising star in Chicago's charity scene. She'd glide into rooms, all charm, thanking me quietly for keeping her safe. I felt like a damn superhero. My job was simple: shadow her, scan for threats, drive her to galas, meetings, whatever. She'd talk about her shelters for kids, how she was changing lives. I ate it up, thought I was part of something big. Mike and I would flank her, him cracking jokes, me stone-faced, watching exits. Routine was my comfort zone: check the venue, brief the team, stay invisible. Clara, our boss, loved me for it. "Jack, you're a machine," she'd say, tossing me extra shifts. I didn't mind. It kept me busy after my divorce, when my son, Ethan, stopped calling. Work was my life. But there were these moments, little cracks I ignored. Evelyn would take calls in hushed tones, step away from me, which was weird. She trusted me with everything else. Once, she asked me to drive a guy to a warehouse at 2 a.m., no questions. I did it, figured it was donor stuff. Mike was there, too, but he got quiet, not his usual chatty self. I brushed it off. Clients are quirky, right? Another time, at a fundraiser, some dude in a hoodie stared too long. I stepped in, but Evelyn waved me off, said he was family. Her smile didn't match her eyes. I told myself it was nothing, just my marine instincts overthinking. Mike would shrug, say, "Rich people, man." We'd laugh, grab a burger after. I was in control, or so I thought. The agency was my family: Mike, Clara, the other guards. We'd grill steaks on weekends, talk about dumb clients. I trusted them. Hell, I trusted Evelyn. She'd ask about Ethan, say she'd pray for us. I believed her. Now I wonder what I missed. Those late-night drives, Mike's silences, Evelyn's cold glances, were they screaming the truth? I was too busy playing hero to see it. I keep thinking, if I'd paid attention, maybe I wouldn't be here, alone, writing this like some paranoid fool, wondering when they'll find me. Here's what happened that broke me open. It was a year ago, a cold March night in Chicago. I was on duty with Evelyn, same old drill: drive her, stay close, keep my eyes sharp. She had me take her to a warehouse in some dead-end part of town, not her usual glitzy venues. Mike was with us, riding shotgun, quieter than normal. I didn't like the vibe: empty streets, no security cams, just shadows and the hum of my SUV. Evelyn said it was a private donor meeting. I didn't ask questions, I never did. That was my job: do what I'm told, protect, don't pry. We pulled up, and she told me to wait outside with Mike. She went in with some guy in a black coat, looked like a lawyer but moved like a predator. I stood by the car, wind cutting through my jacket, scanning the lot. Then I heard it, a muffled cry, like a kid's voice, from inside. My gut twisted. I glanced at Mike. He was staring at his phone, avoiding my eyes. "You hear that?" I asked. He shrugged, muttered, "Probably a cat." Bullshit. I'd heard enough screams in the Marines to know better. Against orders, I cracked the warehouse door, peered in. There, in the dim light, was Evelyn, calm as ever, talking to the guy. Behind her, a girl, maybe 14, eyes wide with fear, being led by some thug to a van. She looked right at me, like she was begging. My heart stopped. I wanted to barge in, but Evelyn's voice cut through, cool and sharp. "Jack, back to the car." I froze, caught. Mike grabbed my arm, pulled me out. "Don't be stupid," he hissed. We drove back in silence, Evelyn chatting about her next gala like nothing happened. I kept seeing that girl's face, those eyes. Was she one of Evelyn's charity kids? I told myself it was a mistake, a one-off, maybe I misread it. But my hands shook on the wheel. I couldn't sleep that night, kept replaying it. Why didn't I do something? I was a Marine, trained to act, not stand there like a coward. I started doubting everything: Evelyn's smile, Mike's shrugs, my own damn instincts. I wanted to ask Mike, but he'd been off lately, dodging my calls. Was he hiding something? I went to Clara the next day, told her what I saw. She laughed it off, said I was overtired, needed a break. Her eyes were hard, like she was warning me. I walked away feeling small, stupid. That girl's face is burned into me now. I failed her, just stood there. What kind of protector am I? I keep asking myself, if I'd known then what I know now, would I have acted? Or was I already too deep, too loyal to see the truth staring me in the face? I tried to bury it, you know. That night at the warehouse, that girl's face, it haunted me, but I told myself I got it wrong. I had to. I'd been with Evelyn for years, seen her hug kids at her shelters, cry at fundraisers. She couldn't be that kind of monster. Could she? I kept replaying it, trying to make it fit. Maybe the girl was just scared of the dark, maybe that guy was her dad. I was a bodyguard, not a cop. My job was to protect, not play detective. But that cry, those eyes, they clawed at me. I brought it up with Mike a few days later, cornered him at the agency locker room. "What was that at the warehouse?" I asked, keeping my voice low. He looked at me like I was crazy, laughed it off. "Jack, you're seeing ghosts. It was just a meeting." His eyes darted away, and he changed the subject, talking about some new client. That wasn't Mike, he'd always talk straight. I felt this cold knot in my chest. Was he lying? I went to Clara again, stupidly thinking she'd back me up. I told her about the girl, the van, the vibe. She leaned back in her chair, sighed like I was a kid whining. "Jack, you're overthinking. Evelyn's a saint. You saw some kid being bratty, that's all." She told me to drop it, said I was risking my job over nothing. Her tone was sharp, like a blade. I walked out feeling like an idiot, like I'd betrayed Evelyn's trust by even asking. But the shame was worse, shame for standing there, doing nothing while that girl was led away. I kept thinking, what if she needed me? I'm trained to act, to save people, and I just froze. I started avoiding Evelyn's gaze on jobs, feeling dirty just standing near her. She noticed, asked me one day, "Jack, you okay? You seem off." Her voice was so warm, like a mom checking on her kid. I mumbled something about being tired, but her smile felt like a mask. Was she playing me? I hated myself for doubting her, for doubting Mike, for doubting everything. I'd been so sure of my world, good clients, good team, good work. Now it was crumbling, and I was too scared to admit it. I kept working, kept scanning crowds, but it felt like going through the motions. Every time I saw a kid at one of Evelyn's events, I'd freeze, wondering if they were okay. I'd tell myself it was fine, that I was paranoid, but the guilt ate me alive. I failed that girl, and I was failing myself, clinging to a lie I wanted to believe. Looking back, I was drowning in denial, too weak to face the truth staring me in the face. The signs were everywhere, screaming at me, but I kept my head down. After the warehouse, I couldn't unsee it. Evelyn's world wasn't clean. A month later, I was driving her to a charity drop-off at a rundown motel. Middle of the night, no press, no donors. Just me, Mike, and Evelyn. She handed me a duffel bag, said it was supplies for the kids. It was heavy, felt wrong, too dense for clothes or books. I didn't look inside, I just loaded it in the trunk. At the motel, a guy in a tracksuit took the bag, no words, just a nod. I saw a kid in the back seat of his car, a boy, maybe 12, staring out, face pale, eyes hollow. My stomach dropped. It was that girl all over again. I turned to Mike, whispered, "What's in the bag?" He snapped, "Don't start, Jack." His voice had an edge I didn't know. Back in the car, Evelyn was on her phone, speaking low in some language I didn't catch, Russian maybe. She glanced at me in the rearview, like she knew I was listening. I pretended to focus on the road, but my hands were sweating. Days later, at one of her galas, I overheard her talking to a suit, something about news shipments, and keeping it quiet. Shipments of what? Toys? Food? I knew better now. I started noticing things, unmarked vans at her events, guys who didn't fit, too rough for her polished crowd. Mike was always there, hovering, watching me like I was the problem. Once, I caught him slipping an envelope to one of those guys. Cash, probably. I asked him later, casual, "What's with the envelopes?" He laughed, too loud, said it was tips for the crew. I wasn't buying it. I went to Clara again, desperate, told her about the motel, the boy, the bags. She rolled her eyes, said, "Jack, you're gonna burn out. Evelyn's charity moves fast, don't read into it." But her jaw was tight, like she was holding something back. I left her office feeling watched, like the walls had ears. Every job after that, I was on edge, scanning for proof, for anything to make sense of this nightmare. I saw another kid at a drop-off, a girl, ushered into a car by some thug while Evelyn smiled nearby. I wanted to scream, to grab her, but I was one guy, no badge, no power. What could I do? Call the cops? With what proof? I was shaking after every shift, barely sleeping. Mike stopped joking, stopped meeting me for beers. He'd vanish after jobs, leaving me alone with my thoughts. The stakes were higher now, I could feel it. If Evelyn was what I feared, I was in deep, complicit. If I spoke up, what would they do? To me, to my son Ethan? I was paralyzed, drowning in what I knew but couldn't face. I kept working, kept quiet, but the truth was closing in, and I was running out of excuses. Here's when it all fell apart. It was a humid August night, another charity run, to a dockyard by Lake Michigan. I was driving Evelyn, Mike in the front, same setup, but the air felt thick, like something was about to snap. My gut was screaming. Every job now felt like a lie. We pulled up to a pier, crates stacked high, a couple of rough-looking guys waiting. Evelyn got out, told us to stay put. I saw her hand a briefcase to one of them, his face lit by a cigarette. Then I heard it, a scream, sharp, desperate, from a crate nearby. A kid's voice. No mistaking it this time. My blood went cold. I looked at Mike. He was staring straight ahead, jaw tight. "We gotta check that," I said, voice low. He shook his head, hissed, "Stay out of it, Jack." That's when I knew, he wasn't just dodging, he was part of it. I didn't think, just moved. I got out, ignored Mike's curse, and crept toward the crate. The scream came again, softer, like a sob. I pried the lid open, heart pounding, and there she was, a girl, maybe 13, curled up, terrified, zip-tied. Her eyes met mine, pleading. Before I could act, one of the guys spotted me, yelled, and pulled a knife. I tackled him, years of training kicking in. We hit the ground, my fist in his face, but another guy came at me. I heard Evelyn shout, "Jack, stop!" like I was the problem. Mike grabbed me, yanked me back, his grip too tight. "You're gonna get us killed," he snarled. The girl was still in the crate, crying. I shoved Mike off, ready to fight, but Evelyn stepped in, calm as ice. "Take her to the safe house," she told the second guy, like it was nothing. They dragged the girl away, and I stood there, helpless, my hands shaking. Back in the car, Mike wouldn't look at me. Evelyn acted like it was a misunderstanding, said the girl was troubled, needed special care. I wanted to scream, to choke her lies out, but I just drove, knuckles white. Later, at the agency, I cornered Mike alone. What the hell's going on? I demanded. He looked trapped, then spilled it. Evelyn's charity was a front, moving kids for cash. He was in deep, taking cuts to stay quiet. You should too, Jack, he said, voice low. Or you're done. My best friend, my brother, was a traitor. I felt like I'd been gut-punched. Everything I believed, our bond, my job, Evelyn's good, was a lie. I couldn't deny it anymore. That girl's sobs echoed in my head, and I knew I'd failed her, failed myself. I had to do something, but what? Snitch and risk my life? Stay quiet and live with this? I was at the edge, and there was no going back. Everything unraveled after I called out Mike. I thought confronting him would clear the air, maybe snap him out of whatever he was in. Instead, it lit a fuse. The next day, Clara hauled me into her office, face like stone. You're done, Jack, she said. Insubordination, questioning clients, stirring trouble. I tried to explain, the girl, the crates, Mike's confession, but she cut me off. You're seeing things that aren't there. Take your paranoia elsewhere. Her eyes were cold, like she knew more than she let on. I walked out, badge gone, Glock turned in, feeling like I'd been gutted. Mike was nowhere, didn't answer texts, didn't show at the agency. My best friend gone, just like that. I heard he took a special assignment for Evelyn. Special, my ass. He chose her money over me, over that girl, over everything we stood for. I was alone now, no job, no team. The other guards avoided me like I was cursed. Only Pete, this rookie guard, pulled me aside, whispered he'd seen weird stuff too, kids, vans, cash. He looked scared, said he couldn't talk more, not safe. That was it, my one shred of loyalty, and even he backed off. Then the threats started. A week later, I got a call, no caller ID, just a voice. Keep your mouth shut, or we know where you live. I laughed it off at first, tough guy bullshit, but then I found my apartment door jimmied, nothing taken, just a message. My locks were useless now. I started sleeping with my old marine knife under my pillow, checking my car for trackers. Evelyn sent me a text all sweet. Sorry about the job, Jack. Let's talk soon. Like hell. Her words felt like a snake coiling around me. I couldn't trust anyone. Clara was probably in on it, Mike was lost, and Pete wouldn't risk his neck. I thought about my son, Ethan, out there with his mom, oblivious. What if they went after him? I hadn't seen him in years, but the thought made my blood run cold. I was a ghost in my own life, cut off from the agency, my old routines, my purpose. I'd spent 15 years protecting people, and now I couldn't protect myself. Every noise at night had me up. Knife in hand, heart racing. I kept seeing that girl's face, her sobs mixing with my shame. I'd failed her, and now I was paying for it. Mike's betrayal cut the deepest, like losing a brother. I kept wondering if I'd pushed too hard, if I could have played it smarter. But deep down, I knew, once I saw the truth, silence wasn't an option. Now I was marked, waiting for the next call, the next shadow, wondering how long I had before they made good on their threats. I saw it all clearly when they came for me. 2 weeks after getting fired, I was tailing one of Evelyn's vans, stupid and reckless, but I needed proof. I'd been sneaking around, following leads from Pete's whispers, warehouses, motels, docks. I wasn't a cop, but I couldn't sit still, not with those kids' faces in my head. That night, I was crouched behind a dumpster near a storage yard, watching a van unload crates. My phone was out, recording, heart hammering. Then, headlights hit me, another car, fast. 2 guys jumped out, one with a bat, the other a gun. You're done, Jack, the gun guy growled. I bolted, dodging through crates, my marine training kicking in. A bullet grazed my arm, burning like hell, but I kept moving, diving into an alley. They were close, shouting, but I lost them in the dark. Panting, bleeding, I hid behind a stack of tires, checking my phone. The video caught it. A crate opened, a kid inside, maybe 15, being pulled out by some thug while Evelyn's voice barked orders in the background. It was real, undeniable. My hands shook as I watched it, blood dripping on the screen. This wasn't just a hunch anymore. Evelyn was running a trafficking ring, and I'd been her shield for years. I felt sick, like my whole life was a lie. I'd protected her, smiled at her, believed her. Those kids? I might as well have handed them over myself. I wanted to puke, but there was no time. Those guys were still out there, hunting me. I made a choice right then, no thinking, just instinct. I sent the video to my old Marine buddy Tom, who's a cop now. "Hold this, don't watch unless I'm gone," I texted. It was a risk. Tom might not believe me, or worse, he might be dirty too. But I needed someone to have it, just in case. I bandaged my arm with my shirt, head spinning. The clarity hit like a punch. Evelyn's empire was a machine, and I was a cog, keeping it running. Mike, Clara, they were all in, profiting off misery. I saw every late-night drive, every hushed call, every kid I'd ignored. It wasn't just betrayal, it was a whole rotten world I'd been blind to. I had to keep going, get more proof, expose her, but I was one guy, no gun, no backup. Those guys with the bat and gun? They'd find me again. I stumbled home, locked the door, knife in hand, knowing sleep was a lost cause. My arm throbbed, but the real pain was in my chest, guilt, rage, fear. I'd crossed a line, sending that video. Evelyn would know soon, if she didn't already. I was a dead man walking, but for the first time, I saw the truth, and I wasn't running from it anymore. I couldn't just hide anymore. I had to do something. After the ambush, I knew time was running out. Evelyn's people were closing in, and that video I sent Tom wasn't enough. I needed hard proof, something undeniable to bury her. So, I did something crazy. 3 nights ago, I broke into her charity office downtown. Yeah, me, a 45-year-old ex-bodyguard, picking locks like some wannabe spy. I'd cased the place for days, knew the security gaps from my time guarding her. At 2 a.m., I slipped in through a back window, heart pounding, my arms still sore from the bullet graze. The office was quiet, all her do-gooder posters mocking me. I rifled through her desk, found locked drawers. My old knife pried them open, files, ledgers, names. Then I hit gold, a USB drive taped under a shelf. I plugged it into her computer, hands shaking. It was all there, emails, bank transfers, lists of placements. Kids' names, ages, destinations. My stomach churned. I wanted to smash the screen. I copied it to my phone, every second feeling like a trap. That's when I heard footsteps. I froze, knife out, ready to fight. It was Evelyn. Alone, in a coat, like she knew I'd come. "Jack," she said. Voice calm but sharp. "You're making a mistake." I stood, gripping the desk, rage boiling. "I saw the kids, Evelyn. The crates, the vans. You're a monster." She didn't flinch, just stepped closer, eyes like a predator's. "You think you're clean? You protected me, Jack. You're in this too." Her words hit like a fist. She was right, I'd enabled her for years. I snapped. "Tell me why. Those kids, what's the money worth?" She laughed, cold. "You wouldn't understand power, Jack. Stick to your knife." I wanted to lunge, to make her pay, but I held back. This wasn't about violence, not yet. I pocketed my phone, the USB data burning a hole. "This ends now," I said, voice low. She smirked. "You'll regret this." I slipped out, her stare drilling into me. Back home, I hid the drive, checked my locks, my knife close. I'd taken a stand, finally, but it felt hollow. Evelyn's words stuck. I wasn't clean. I'd carried her bags, driven her vans, stood by while kids suffered. The evidence was mine now, but what next? Give it to Tom? The cops? Could I trust them? I was alone, hunted, with no plan, just a fire to stop her. Every creak in my apartment made me jump, expecting her goons. I'd crossed her, and there was no going back. I kept seeing those kids' names, their lives sold, and my guilt screamed louder than my fear. I had to keep fighting, but God, I was terrified of what came next. I'm still here, but it doesn't feel like living. After breaking into Evelyn's office, I've been a wreck, jumping at every shadow. The USB's hidden in my apartment, taped inside an old vent, but it's like a bomb ticking. I haven't sent it to Tom yet, can't decide if I trust him. What if he's dirty? What if he hands it to the wrong cop? I'm stuck, paralyzed, just waiting for the hammer to fall. The threats haven't stopped. Yesterday, A black SUV followed me for 3 blocks, tinted windows, no plates. I ducked into a store, heart pounding, pretending to browse until it passed. Then a note slipped under my door last night. You can't hide. No signature, just those words in Sharpie. My knife's always in my hand now, my arm's still stinging from that graze. I don't sleep, just sit by the window, watching the street. Pete, the rookie guard, was my last hope for an ally. I called him, begged him to meet me at a diner. He showed up, nervous, kept looking over his shoulder. I told him about the USB, the names, the kids. His face went pale, and he whispered, "Jack, you're dead if you keep this up." Then he admitted it. He'd told Clara I was asking questions. He didn't mean to sell me out, he said, just panicked under pressure. I wanted to punch him, but I just walked away, my last thread of trust snapped. Now it's just me, alone with this guilt. I keep thinking about those kids, their names on that drive: Maria, 14, Jamal, 11, Sophia, 16. I see their faces, imagined, in every crowd. I was their protector once, or I thought I was. Now I'm nothing, just a guy with evidence he's too scared to use. I tried calling Ethan, my son, just to hear his voice, but his mom blocked my number years ago. I left a voicemail anyway, said I loved him, knowing he'll never hear it. What if Evelyn's people go after him? The thought makes me sick. I keep replaying my confrontation with her, her cold laugh, her calling me complicit. She's right, I drove the vans, stood guard, ignored the signs. I'm not innocent, and that eats me alive. I want to fight to bring her down, but every step feels like walking into a trap. The agency's cut me off, Mike's a ghost, Pete's a rat, and Clara's probably laughing with Evelyn right now. I check my locks, my windows, my car, like a ritual. The dread's constant, like a weight on my chest. I don't know what's next: run, fight, or hand over the drive and pray. All I know is there's no ending here, no win. I'm in too deep, and they're coming. I just don't know when or how.